All right, you guys, it's time to get this party started. Let's go. Woo-hoo. And listen, of course, I'm going to be having it's a repeat. It's always something on here, I'm telling you. But we are here for the 3rd anniversary of Mzizi for Life Coaching Solutions and the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. Woo-hoo. And I have Jimmy the Experiential. That is my creative alias. I am also your mindful moderator. And you can call me the king of misinformation. And I'm also the son of the Most High. Don't get it messed up. But my mom named me James. My government name is James Edwards. And we are here in celebration of the 3rd anniversary of this initiative. We are in the studio. Let's go. I got all dressed up. I got me some shades on. Look at it. I whipped out the bling for y'all. And so, shame on me, because I know this is church time in some parts of the world. But I am recording this Mountain Standard Time, so it is only 11:07. So if you're watching this on the replay, in your time zone, whatever it may be, I want to just thank you for taking the time out to tune in. But before we get started, I just want to enter a mindful moment with you guys. Stop the music. Before we get started, I just want to enter a mindful moment. Guys, stop. And so I want you to get relaxed, get settled where you are, wherever you might be. Calm the central nervous system, which is very important. Get relaxed, get settled where you are, wherever you might be. And for us to begin the process of referring to ourselves internally, which is really, really important. And for us to begin the process of referring to ourselves internally, which is really, really important. They call it grounding, I guess. I'm trying my best to sync with the reverb because I'm hearing the echo of myself. They call it grounding, I guess. I'm trying my best to sync with the reverb because I'm hearing the echo of myself. So take a deep breath if you can and exhale. Find a pattern of breathing that's comfortable for you. So take a deep breath if you can Drop your shoulders, relax your shoulders. Find a pattern of breathing that's comfortable for you. Drop your shoulders, relax your shoulders. Connecting with the internal awareness, listening to your heartbeat, the pace and the rhythm of your breathing. Connecting with the internal awareness, listening to your heartbeat, pace and rhythm of breathing. Bringing your attention and awareness to the soles of your feet. Noticing the climate on the tips of your toes. Notice how your feet feel in your socks, or if you're barefooted. Feel the air as it makes contact with your skin. Notice how you feel in your socks, or if you're barefooted. Feel the air makes contact with your skin. Bring your attention and awareness to the palms of your hand, the tips of your fingers. Attention and awareness to the palms of your hand, tips of your fingers. Tapping into the activity in the peripheral nervous system that can sometimes be taken for granted. The peripheral nervous system that can sometimes be taken for granted. As you continue to breathe at a slow, rhythmic pace. Slow pace. Shifting your attention and awareness to the very top of your head. Very top of your head. And just recognizing that in this place, at this moment, just recognizing that in this place, at this moment, the most important thing in life is the breath entering your nostrils on the inhale, the air leaving your mouth on the exhale. Breath entering your nostrils on the inhale, and the slow, steady beat of your heart. Steady beat of your heart. And to bring yourselves out of the mindful moment, rotate those shoulders. Can let your wrists get heavy and sink down toward the ground, shifting your seat. Bring yourselves out of the mindful moment, rotate those shoulders. And contract and extend those legs out in front of you. Sink down toward the ground, shifting your seat. Maybe you want to make some of those larger body movements. Lift your hands up above your head, wiggle your fingers. Contract and extend those legs out in front of you. And make some of those larger body movements with your hands up above your head, with your fingers. And we can continue. If you're tuning in, again, my name is James Edwards. I am the clinical director for the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. This initiative started out in 2020 as a life coaching initiative, which was called Mzizi for Life Coaching Solutions. For the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. This initiative started out in 2020 as a life coaching initiative, which was called Mzizi for Life Coaching Solutions. And Mzizi means the root in Swahili. Mzizi means the root in Swahili. And in just a few years, we've shifted focus, but we are still here as the Quality of Life and Recovery Center, which is an online resource for individuals who are in the early stages of reconstructing and transforming their lives. At the Quality of Life and Recovery Center, we provide a values-driven, experiential approach to life change, professional development, self-improvement. It all falls under the umbrella of health and wellness, or mental wealth or mental well-being. If you've been following me, you know by day I am a licensed associate counselor here in the state of Arizona. Uh, and I'm very, very, very excited to say I have satisfied the hours and credentials to move to the next level of licensure, which is the professional level of licensure. You have to acquire like over 1,600 hours. And so I have done that. And so it's just about me getting all the paperwork together. But as you know, there are a lot of different states. And so the training with in mental health, it just never stops, which is a cool thing because you can, continue to learn and continue to develop. But I am doing that under the umbrella of the Quality of Life and Recovery Center, uh, and primarily to provide a resource for reflection and to help people build everyday life strategies for grasping, number one, the experience of life, and then transforming it to work to their advantage as they move forward, right? We don't want to be like the dog chasing its tail in life, or the rat running in the wheel cage. We want to have new experiences, have a new understanding of ourselves internally, new interactions with each other, and most importantly, shifting the worldview. Unfortunately, we live in a time where there is just a lot of calamity, and people feel caught up and consumed by it in their thoughts. And so I have someone here, Tech Cambridge Leadership, in the waiting room. I'm not sure who that is, but let's see. And Dr. J, my first guest, is here. And so I'm really, really excited, you guys. We are not going to delay the hour, but I want you guys to help welcome my very first guest, which is Dr. J. He is my spiritual guide, my older cousin, which has acted as like my brother for many, 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 many years. He is my frat brother, my confidant. Man, I'm going to go ahead and bring him in the room, and we're going to just engage in some conversation, which we do all the time. So you guys help me to welcome Dr. J. I don't even think he knew I'm set him up for this welcome, but I'm gonna go ahead and welcome him. Just engage in some conversation all the time. So you guys help me welcome Dr. J. I'm set him up for this. Dr. B. Jeezy.
What's happening? What's good? What's up?
Everything, everything is good. So good to see you, my brother.
Likewise. Likewise. I can only see you in an interview, I guess. It's strange because we never FaceTime.
Oh, but you're not a FaceTimer. I thought you said you weren't meant
Well,
to.
yeah, I'm learning to though now. It's 2024. So
Oh, can you hear the reverb?
now I can. I didn't hear it until you said it.
Yeah. I have no idea how to fix that. Did you see who is Tech Cambridge? Tech Cambridge came in the room at the same time you did.
How would I know who you gave your password to?
I don't know. I thought you were showing up with technical assistance.
No, I didn't bring any of my technicians with me today.
Yes, your team.
So it's just so did you remove the person from the room since you don't know, dude?
Oh no, I let him in. Just I wanted to see who he was, but
Oh,
he
okay.
he left.
Oh, okay.
So I already gave an introduction about how who you are and how important to me you are. You have so many different titles in my life. I just want to thank you for being who you are and who you have been to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when it comes to the end or how this relationship changed and the development of this life coaching initiative, when I turned in 2020, when I turned 50, I said, I'm going to grow up, right? I made a conscious decision to grow up. And I said, I'm not going to call Dr. J to extinguish the fires of my life. I'm going to try and
How'd that work out?
It's been a little rough.
Okay. Are we live, by the way, or is this just?
Yeah, you're being streamed.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Talk.
Wow, I wish I had known. I didn't have time to get into hair and makeup today, so this is it.
Yeah.
Well, you mean my feeling, my sentiments are the same, in terms of our relationship, brotherhood, etc. And everyone that I know needs a shoulder to lean on. No woman or man or other is an island.
Yeah. And so I just remember you really like shifted into that space when I became a teenager. And I became a little bit more rambunctious and rebellious. And just being that person, who I can remember calling you on the payphone. And I guess by that time you had a driver's license because you were driving, but you came to get me. But it's been that way, all my life, and I'm just really appreciative, to have you as that person to just expand. I don't know what my life, my understanding of the world would be without you, Benjamin. And so I thank you so much for that.
Wow, I appreciate that. What I reinforce in you, I reinforce in myself. In other words, giving and receiving are one and true. So I don't, what you extend, you keep, right? I mean, that's essentially what it's saying. And I believe in oneness, as you know. And even, back then, the time frame you're talking about, my ego was still fully in charge. Now, now I learn, to be a little more aware of where I am, what floor I'm living on, emotionally. Am I in the penthouse or am I in the basement?
Yeah.
So what's the theme of this show? What's the theme of your show? I guess I got here late. You started without me, you said. I missed the introduction. See, I thought 2:15 meant 2:30. You bring your guests in, you prep them, and then boom, we're going live at 2:30. But it was like, boom, I come in and it's showtime. That's low-key dirty.
Well, you're familiar with the Church of God in Christ, right? And the format in the Church of God in Christ, because we're small, and usually, the resources are lacking, and so I was always trained, be also ready.
Okay, so if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
And so, well, actually, really, what I wanted to talk to you about is, you talked about just getting to I'm hearing the reverb. So you talked about just getting to a place where you can celebrate life, like knowing where you are, right? I'm so grateful to finally have arrived at that place, to have like a direction, because for a moment it can be just darkness or defeat or tragedy, and now I realize that we get the opportunity to choose, you know where we want to operate and what we want to work toward. And I think it was you, Benjamin, that introduced me to transcendence, or rising above. And so I wanted you to talk a little bit about your ideas as it relates to transcending tragedy, and rising into triumph.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Einstein said that problems cannot be resolved at the same level that they were created. So we have to learn how to rise above that perceived problem. Because remember, these are just problems in your mind, right? Only your thoughts are real. So when I discovered that we have about 30,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of what we're thinking about today, we'll be thinking about tomorrow. I said, wow, I need a mantra then, or an affirmation, because we all talk to ourselves several times a day. So to make a long story longer, I was hospitalized for the first time last year. I went to work on Friday, and went home on Friday, and I was hospitalized on Monday for a week. And when I was in the hospital the first couple of days, I was in a funk, no lie. And so but by day 3, I was like, wow, this is an opportunity for me to practice what I believe, right? So, because oftentimes when we're faced with adversity, we'll put down faith and we'll pick up fear for whatever reason. So I realized that this is an opportunity for me to practice what I believe. And the epiphany was not just this moment, but every moment. What do I believe? I have faith. I believe that I am healed. I believe all things are possible to those who believe. I know my life won't change until I change my self-concept. So I have to be able to put good stuff in if I want good stuff out. So knowing that, I'm having this conversation, I'm back in the hospital talking to someone on the phone. It was on a Wednesday. And the nurse was in there, and I'm having a conversation similar to like you and I are having now. And so the nurse had her back to me, and it was like she was in the amen corner. She just had her hand up in the air like she was testifying to what she overheard me saying. And so the truth is still true, and the truth is self-evident. So when you hear it, whether you heard it before or not, it affects you. You feel it because we're all energy beings. So in order to rise above any situation, any circumstance, situation, or problem that you perceive, you basically need self-awareness, right? Because remember, nothing that comes and goes is you. And so when you get saturated in the truth, I got my 10,000 hours in. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called Outliers. And so he said, whatever you do for 10,000 hours, you can become an expert at it. I chose mental wealth, what I call mental wealth.
Yeah, and so we were talking about, we often work to understand grief, and the stages of grief. And I was really confronted with the opportunity to kind of choose how I was going to proceed in 2020, like when I lost my grandfather. What my grandfather means to me. And so this whole initiative was developed as a result of me grieving back here to the Valley, And I was like, whoa, I'm here by myself. And this is like one of the
Mhm.
most, extreme losses I've ever experienced in my life. And I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I had to consciously make a decision, to live for or learn more about positivity. And that's when I decided to, start learning more about contemporary alternative methods of healing. And that was just, when my whole therapeutic journey was starting as well. And so since that point, it's been uphill. Um, and so you asked me what the theme and what the topic is, and for the month of April, the topic, the quality of life category is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. Over the course of 2024, we have a different quality of life category for every month. And the 12 different categories, they come from an article in therapist.com. And it's talking about the mental health concerns of millennials. And so you are an educator, and you have provided educational resources and services over the every across. I would say you're knowledgeable about every generation. But where you are and what you're doing now, what are some of your concerns about millennials and mental health, and where do you see us headed moving forward in regards to education, mental health?
Wow, that is a very deep question. So, like you said, I do work with college age students now, but I work with students K through 12 also. And so, what's the focus when it comes to K through 12? It's all about STEM, right? Math and science, math and science. So, social emotional learning, unless they're getting it from their parents or a mentor, students are not getting it. Some parents bleed all over their children, some bless them, some do both. So, without being educated on emotional intelligence, students show up at the college level with this learned behavior. In other words, they get it from their mama and their dad, so that's the issue. So now, and I came across some research recently where it said 10 years leading up to the pandemic, students from the age of 12 to 17, due to their mobile phones and social media, had a 40% increase in hopelessness, helplessness, suicidal ideation, self harm, all that stuff, right? So that's leading up to the pandemic. Now, the pandemic, right? Boom. Now, the ramifications of the pandemic. So we have these vestiges that are bleeding over now into 2024. Students to this day still have a felt sense of uncertainty, a felt sense of isolation, and a felt sense of fear. So how do they learn how to navigate these emotions and at the same time navigate through this universe and school? It's a challenge. So I think, and this is the million or $1 trillion or priceless question, you name it, that you asked me. How do we help young people make it through this thing called life? And I think one of the most important things is to realize we live in two worlds. One is physical and the other one is invisible, our thoughts and feelings. And personally, I believe only one of them is real. The internal is creating the external. As within, as so without. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Einstein said he discovered the theory of relativity from the effective use of his imagination. So essentially, our imagination is creating our reality. So, and that's what that means. Thoughts become things. This mobile phone right here, right? This computer, this chair I'm sitting in, solidified thought all around us. So we live in this shadow world and we think everything is real. But truly, only your thoughts are real. And I say that because just like a genius believes his world is real, so does a madman, right? So that's why all things are possible to those who believe, because only your thoughts are real. So whether you're, 18 or 98, if you're still here on the planet, we all have some work to do. So that's why I say it's important to read. You have to read, and some brilliant people have written some brilliant books, and there are podcasts out there now. So if you're not getting any original thought, if you're only TikToking and Facebooking and DMing and into the ground, you're going to miss some things. Because this is an inward journey. So I think everyone needs a spiritual consultant in their life, or a spiritual mentor. I navigate, in that space because again, what you extend, you keep. So opportunities like this to have with you, I get to discover what's really marinating in my mind. But in truth, you are a soul passing through a life where the entire drama is a script for your awakening. And one of these, sorry, I can't quote the guru that said it, but one of these spiritual gurus that I listen to, Ram Dass, or who else do I read? Help me out. You know who I read? Neville Goddard.
Right, Course in Miracles.
Yeah, so Course in Miracles. So once you become saturated in this information, you don't just read it and close the book and say, I got it. You have to read it and reread it, and that's what you do. So that's how I got here. And where am I? I'm here in this present moment.
And so one of your recent quotes I've been hitting people with is the ability to, I want to rest in peace while I'm alive. Rest in peace while I'm alive. And you talked about the importance of social emotional learning.
Right.
And so what do you seeing, or what do you propose for as a macro solution to the deficit in social emotional learning that is present for millennials? Or is it we got Generation Z and then we got Generation Alpha. And so that come after millennials. Millennials were born between 1981 and 1996. Generation Z is 1996 to 2010. And then we got Generation Alpha, which is 2010 to 2020. There we go.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
go.
I consider myself a elderly millennial. So because how I live, where I live, but your question was on. Can you just repeat your question for me? I got caught up.
How do we fill in the gap? And so the Quality of Life and Recovery Center, I created my first funnel, Benjamin. I can't wait to share it with you. But the importance of psychoeducational processes. So how do we work towards solving the not solving, but filling in the gap for social emotional learning? What would you like to see more of readily available for anybody, just who's out there struggling?
Yeah. Okay. So something concrete. I think I know what you mean. So just like we have to learn how to walk and we have to learn how to talk, we have to now learn how to think and learn how to feel. Right? Because that's what's missing. Right? The missing link. And so your question is, well, how do we do that? Because think about it. It's invisible stuff that plagues us, right? You can't point to it and say, there's my drama, there's my trauma, Dr. J, there's my pain. No, it's invisible stuff. Our memories, our thoughts and feelings. So that's what we're really escaping from. And so, and ideally, again, it still falls under self-awareness. It's a lot of repetition when it comes to learning how to deprogram and reprogram your mind. I mean, that's how we learn English, right? From listening to it. Right? So it's the same way. If you want to change the language, you really need a new vocabulary. I got the new vocabulary from reading and listening to people who are on a awakened, conscious, evolutionary trail. That interests me. That's what attracted me. So knowing that, so what I have to do again is that's where the mantra comes in, but you also have this thing called an ego, right? Because people think a piece of cracked glass called a mirror can determine beauty. How can you look, you know what I'm saying? But you see an image of what's ever in your mind. That's why some people can be this size and they'll look in the mirror and they'll say, I am fat. But they might be 115 ounces. So knowing that, the first thing you have to do is when it comes to deprogramming is say to yourself, or what I call your ego, three words. I know nothing. So knowing that, I know nothing. To be a mantra throughout the day. Why do I say I know nothing? Because the ego is insane. And the ego vacillates between suspiciousness and viciousness. And only an ego can conflict. So knowing all this, if I say I know nothing, I'm silencing my ego. It'll be pissed off, of course. But you just keep repeating it because now you're making room for wisdom to come. Knowledge comes from books, but wisdom comes from within. Because remember, words are just symbols of symbols, right? So that's why a wise man said if the Bible was history, it wouldn't be a mystery. So it's full of symbology. And so we have to learn how to internalize it. So if you're saying to yourself, I know nothing, now you have your mantra, which can remove a delusional thought just like that. I am successful. I am brilliant. I am the greatest of all times. I mean, really, you have faith is a feeling, you know. So that's what I say. So you start there, and then all throughout the day, it's the frequency. It's the frequency of saying these things and doing these things, and more importantly, feeling these things. Faith is a feeling.
Yeah. So pretty much just spoken word and speaking to yourself, speak over yourself,
Yeah.
encourage yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, really, really good. And so Benjamin, I started late and I'm running behind. And so I'm not gonna be able to keep you because my next guest is in the waiting room.
Okay, okay.
But I want to just thank you for showing up and hanging out with me this hour and encouraging me through conversation. I'm going to be able to see you more and visit one of our national paradises that I call it. So before you go, can you just give us some parting words, words of encouragement for anybody who may tune into this replay?
Of course. Always remember, and I'll just, like I said, it's about repetition. The mastery of the self-control of your thoughts and feelings will be your greatest achievement in this lifetime. Yeah. And you are a soul passing through a life where the entire drama is a script for your awakening. And that's the goal, to gain higher and higher levels of awareness and achieve your desires and your goals. Thank you for waiting. Also, I had to log out and log back in to get Zoom to open up. All these computers are. But as you know, it was great seeing you. Peace and blessings, and go forth and prosper.
The script for my awakening. Ashe until next time. Dr. J, thank you so much for hanging out.
Take good care.
Script for my awakening. Ashe until next time. All right, you guys. And so we're gonna keep this thing moving. I'm gonna have me a rip and sip real quick. Y'all know one of my other identities is I am an aspiring network marketer with the awesome and amazing company Total Life Changes. One of the primary drinks that we not drinks or products that we have is the NutriBurst. So I'm gonna take me one. I haven't had one today, so company Total Life Changes. One of the I'm gonna need it to make it through this the remainder of this event. I already had my NRG, my natural raw energy supplement with my coffee this morning. This is my second cup, my second capsule of NRG. But I'm gonna help you guys help me to welcome my next guest. Keisha Williams is here. She is the creator of DIY Entrepreneurs. They are doing some amazing things. you guys helped me to welcome Keisha Williams into the room. Guys helped me to welcome Keisha Williams into the room. Keisha!
Hello, James. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Woo-hoo. Thank you for helping me count.
Oh, listen, I understand how it is. Sticking in there 3 months. You done did it 3 years. So congratulations on the journey, first of all. But I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for providing a blueprint for me in so many different ways in the development of this initiative, this psychoeducational platform. And so I was talking about like all the many things that you are and the many things that you do. And so and having doing Hisha, I fell apart when I saw when I saw you type. If y'all know how much I loved my BlackBerry.
Listen, if you know me, you know that came from the heart. Because listen, I love that little device.
Yeah.
But thank you. I appreciate you sharing it. And thanks so much for watching. You know that came from the heart.
And so he should like I call myself doing this time without technical assistance, right? And now I got can you hear the reverb?
I do. I hear the echo.
Yeah. And so next year I'm gonna be obedient. I'm gonna reach out for help. So
no problem at all. I'm always here. You know me.
Thank you. And so I guess the quality of life category for the month of April is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being, not psychological, but physiological well-being.
Okay.
And so the theme for the whole year is shared social experiences. That was taken from an article in therapist.com, and in that article, they give 12 different shared social experiences. So I broke it down and I said, well, hey, I'm going to look at a different shared social experience every month of the year.
Got it. I love
it. So just in regards to all of who you are, Keisha, you've made the transition into, is it Glamour?
Glamour, yes. G-Ma.
G-Mama. That's G-Ma.
Yes.
Yeah.
That brings up a different part of me when you bring up my G baby. But yes, I have 2 wonderful children, and they have blessed me with 2 grandbabies. And it is such a beautiful life, when you're thinking about being vulnerable and just watching children, babies at that, they are hilarious, but they're so smart too. And so I'm just having fun, being G-Ma. Right now, because it's my 2-year-old daughter, she's just forming her letters and words and stuff like that. So she calls me Mima. Because she says Mima, so it just touches my heart every time I talk or see her. But yeah.
So in regards to the social emotional concerns for millennials and the generations following us, that's one of the areas of concern for the Quality of Life and Recovery Center because individuals within the age category of 40 and 65 have to continue to give back. They call it generativity. We have to continue to provide resources and opportunity for the generations following us. And if we don't do that, then we fall into what's called stagnation, right? Brittle bones, your brain starts to shrink.
Yes.
Alzheimer's sinks in. And so, Hisha, I know you're not going. I'm not either.
I'm gonna be working till the end, but having fun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really making it a part of my lifestyle. But it's interesting that you bring that up because, the last, I would say 9 months of my life, and probably the last six, so I'm being more comfortable with it. I'm in more of a steady flow with it. But my dad fell real ill, toward the last part of the summer last year. And so it was real chaotic during those first couple of months because I'm not as acquainted with kind of going through the motions with people. And so I'm great at doing it afar, being able to send help or gifts and things like that. But to be in it with it, that was tough for me. And what I learned in that was just kind of being present, and two, being patient with everything because I'm reaching back as my dad, one, and I'm in a comfortable space in my life where I'm just working and doing the things that I enjoy to do. But then when it brings you back in that space of unfamiliar, you're just unfamiliar with it, and you're not acquainted with going through something with people, once you go through it and come out of it, it's like, you know what? You just kind of want to share the experience in a way of hoping, one, with my children, you guys may have to go through this with me, and so sharing those experiences and being very mindful of how to capture the experience in a way that you can share it, and not being so blocked. So I just came through and still coming through a lot of learning how to do that. So it's amazing that you come with this topic because I'm living it right now. Yeah.
And so basically you talked about stepping into the role of caregiver.
Yes.
I have to be honest. I'm not equipped. I'm not the best. I'm not the best caregiver. So my mom and I have been having some conversations just about, making sure, number one, we're there psychologically and emotionally. We're in agreement, and so we was on the phone laughing yesterday, just about she telling me so she's gonna be my last guest tonight. Tonight, and she was just like, "Yeah, so just make sure I don't have no hair on my chin." And I was talking about, it smelling like pee a little bit, you know what I mean? She's like, "Yeah, that part too." So, but yeah, I've been having those conversations, with myself just about the process of aging. And again, too, I want to continue to I want to have fun.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so just going through all of that, and while I say like the last 9 months, right now my dad is well. He's still in rehab center, but he's himself, and I praise God for that. All glory go to him. But in it, I was speaking with him, and he was like, "You know what? I want to go back fishing, and in that I was like, this would be great because, one, I'm into the whole wilderness type of thing. I love to count. And up until this time, I've just done it to count. But with him saying, I want to start going back fishing and doing things like that, now I'm looking up wanting to take my grandbaby to kind of keep tradition or establish a tradition and other type of things to do for us. So yeah, going fishing, having experiences. My dad said he'll never get on the plane, but I'm gonna challenge him on that in this new lifeness stage of his life. And so, but yeah, just keeping up with doing things that you like to do. Get out riding bikes, and it don't have to be, all lights and glamour. It's just something that you enjoy doing, and that can be life. Because for me, I'm a quiet, going camping, listen to the birds. I'm that type of. I enjoy that. That brings good time to me. So yeah.
And so this conversation is unscripted. I told myself I'm just gonna try to go with the flow. I'm gonna stay within the parameters of the theme for 2024, which is shared social experiences and the quality of life category for the month. which is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. I just saw, when you were talking about your G babies, you grabbed your heart, right? That was a physiological response. But stepping into this role as caregiver, I know that I experienced a little bit of fear, right? I experienced some fear. And I live with it on a daily basis because I moved my aunt here so that I could provide care for her. And she's in an assisted living facility. And usually on my Sundays, that's usually what I do. I spend time with her. So did you, as you stepped into the role of caregiver for your dad, did you experience any fear? And then in those instances, how did you manage it? What did you do to resolve it, accommodate it, and be with it?
Very good question. I think I felt a lot of I felt very inadequate.
Yes.
One, because again, I'm not acquainted with sitting with people during a time of whatever in their life. And so I wasn't so much scared, but it was just like, what do I say? How do I respond? How do I let him know that I'm supporting him? And then when it got in those tough times, it was like, okay, I'm tired. I need some time to kind of sit back. How do I communicate to him? That part when he ain't thinking about that right now, and so I just felt real inadequate. And I thank God because it was one friend, and I don't know if she just knew, but she became that person that kind of modeled to me, you need to be walking through this with someone. And so, and even now you hear it in my voice, but in that time, it was the first time I had ever really experienced someone just really being thoughtful and calling me, how are you doing? All right, how's dad doing? How I need to pray for him. All right, how are you doing? Let's go grab something to eat. And making sure I put that time for me because they knew me. They knew I am a real reflective type of person. And in those months, they were carrying me kind of emotionally through that. And so I thank God for that person. Her name is Tiffany, but I thank God for her just kind of recognizing that that's what I needed at that moment, because I just felt like I don't have no answers. I don't know where to get them from. And I'm just here because I know right now that's what my dad needs, for me to be present. So,
Yeah, so the feeling of incompetence, right, or inadequacy. I really appreciate the way you worded it when you said, like, I don't know how to be with people when they're in that space. And I don't either, but I guess I think what I did hear you say is, you made sure you had, well, I don't know, well, some resources appear for you, and the resources in form of a person.
Yes.
The support.
Yes. Yeah. And I would also say my job as well, because what I did not know in the first 3 months of that, when you're in that fight or flight moment, for me, it was, I had just started a new position. And so I'm already in the training of that. And you know how I am when I'm into something, I'm just like tunnel vision. And so then this happened. And when it compounded, I called my director, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this and this. And so I need to quit. And she just kind of was like, no, that's not the answer. That's not what we're doing, And
you're not going nowhere. She told
right. She's like, no, wait, hold on. I understand the emotions right now, but this is what we're going to do. And she kind of walked me through that. And so not only having somebody as a friend that recognized this is what I need, but having a job to kind of be like, no, all right, we'll give you 3 months off. Don't worry about it. And having that space to kind of go away and be tunnel vision, because that's who I am. That's how I operate. But have all that focus around my dad, that was the world. And then to come back and get back into position as if nothing happened, it was beautiful. So having, yes, like you said, the resources, which was one, my job, and then two, just that friend alongside of me that recognized what I needed in that moment.
And so that made me think about rephrasing the cliche. You know how we say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to assist the caregiver or to assist the elderly.
That part, yes, sir. Absolutely. And then, you know, even with the term caregiver, when I, in the first beginning, I was researching things, I didn't know it was a term. This is me and my total ignorance because I'm not, you know, I'm not acquainted with this whole space. And so then when you come upon caregiver, you found the resources that's available for that. I'm like, wow, there's a whole community of people that kind of just recognize right now when it's not, when you're in this space that you have to be in life. And so it was just beautiful to be able to get those resources, have people alongside of me that identify what resources I needed when I'm not even in that space. It was beautiful. So yeah.
So, Hisha, I'm just thinking in my mind about the many questions that I can ask you. But I have seen you excel in so many different areas. But you are, what do I want to say? You are gracious enough to invite the world, I want to say, into your experiences because you share it on social media. But one of the areas that I've not done that I'm struggling with still today, Keisha, is when it comes to physiological well-being and improving quality of life, is what I eat.
Yes.
My diet. But you have you're one of the like when vegan living like really became like I became more aware of it. You were one of those people who crossed over into becoming a vegan and start sharing your journey. So what are some tips, tools, practices you can share with the listening audience about adjusting diet so that you can improve quality of life?
You know, I think first we have to recognize that I think eating is the end all be all to a diet.
Okay.
I think in what we eat, of course, we understand that being physical and being a part of life duties and responsibilities, getting up, going outside, getting some vitamin D from the sun, you know, those good things are a part of daily life. And if we're good in doing that, you know, things happen naturally. Where I think, you know, me being a vegan, it's just a part of my lifestyle now. And it was a gradual thing. It was never a thought that I would say, I'm going to become vegan. You know, it started with the spiritual fast, you know, a Daniel fast that most people may be very familiar with. And trying to go back into kind of eating meat, it just tasted totally different, you know. And from there it started to me dropping off out the pork or the red meat out of my diet. And so it was a gradual thing over like 5-6 years in my life. You know, it was nothing that it was like, okay, I'm going to become a vegan, so I'm gonna start doing this. It wasn't a thought to that for me. But in what has sustained me is the way that it just makes me feel and the way the changes that I know. It's not even a lot of, you know, things that you can see. It's more of a lot of the way my body changes, operate because of the different things that I eat. Once you come through that and you understand and you stick with that in a while and you try to go back and you see, oh, when I ate that didn't really go well. It's a, for me, it was a normal thing. Like, okay, nah, I got to keep this temple as good and clean as I want to. And I'm not really a exercise person. And that's why I love your videos, because you get out and you in the morning. I mean, I wish I was that disciplined to really just get up and have a routine like that. But for me, where that is in my eating. And it shows up for me personally in ways that I can't really describe. Probably ways that will make me uncomfortable in describing. But I know it's good and better for my health. And so for me is like, why not stick with it? Because it makes me feel better. So
Well, it shows because you glow. And so right when you glowing, it's
try.
more than makeup. It's something beautiful going on internally as well. So it's working.
Thank you.
I wanted to shift into another area that you excel in, and that's business. And so just to kind of close out, I want to talk a little bit about DIY entrepreneurs and the business pitfalls and profits podcast. You've been pushing out content like crazy. You should.
Listen, I've been trying these. I am implementing my fourth quarter goals in the first and second quarter, but I'm saying that to say it ain't never too late, right? I appreciate the support that you give me, but yes, I'm an entrepreneur advocate, for any person that's just trying to be able to provide for themselves, self-sustainability, where you're not having to wholly rely on a corporation or a job. I'm an advocate of yours, and any skill or way that I can help and provide assistance to, I'm the one to do that. And so in my podcast or on my channel, the DIY Entrepreneurs, is all about just taking just the steps toward, entrepreneurship in our journey that we have. And my podcast, and I just started another one, but the podcast that you mentioned, Business Pitfalls and Profits, I just take normal conversations or headlines that before interest me. And I'm not really a pop culture. I don't stay like in tune with what's going on. But when something interests me, and usually it happens when this business is affected, endorsement deals and stuff like that. Me in my spare time, I'm researching to kind of see what that is. And so in that research, and I just make a story of it. And I got a team of people that help me with editing and things like that. And we put it on the website and we put it on the channel. So that's the Business Pitfalls and Profits podcast. And then I just started another one, the Profit Predators, where we take the white crime of things that happen in business, in entrepreneurship, and just kind of showcase some of those stories. So just trying to, be like you. We're keeping the content coming. And so, because you definitely keep it coming out. And so just trying to increase every year and provide valuable content.
We gonna continue to work together to push the envelope of micro learning forward in every way, shape, and form that we can. And so I think one of the most interesting episodes of Business Pitfalls and Profits podcast is the one about Canva.
Oh, yes.
I was like, wow.
I didn't know that
and the
either,
way she just went about accumulating the support, the financial support, I was like, whoa.
Yes. And the different, all the different acquisitions. That's what made me do the story on it, because a lot of times we try to grow on our own, but she had garnered a space, because we're, those designers are loyal to Adobe and those big platform type of apps. So she made something very much so user-friendly and direct competitors with them. And the way she kind of increased the value was to acquire other small businesses that had technology that will help her. Free stock imagery and all of that kind of stuff. So I had to do that story once. I was like, I like the way she did that. So I definitely had to kind of research that. Even though it's not a United States company, I try to stick to things that, that would affect our living. But it was just an interesting story. Had to share that. But that was a good one. Thanks. Thanks for watching that one.
I can remember back in 2021, Lahisha, you were like, have you ever heard of Canva? You introduced me to Canva, and I was like, no. And so I went and man, I don't know what this initiative would be without Canva. So the information you provided about it, phenomenal, dynamic. So, you guys, if you're listening, be sure to follow DIY Entrepreneurs. I think you're available on all platforms.
I am.
DIY Entrepreneurs, make sure you watch an episode of the latest episode of Business Pitfalls, Profits podcast. Keisha, before you go, any parting words about the quality of life category topic for the month of April, mental, vibrational, physiological well-being, or shared experiences as it relates to the mental health and concerns of the the millennial generation?
I don't have too much to share. I could just share really like my experiences that I've shared previously, but I think it's definitely needed that we give back, that we're always looking ahead by giving back, and so I think that's very important to keep the generations interested. We're using this word engaged, but to keep them really interested in developing the different things that's going to come about as we grow, and get older. So, but last, James, again, thank you so much for inviting me. I love, working with you in any opportunity that I could provide support to you. I'm here. Congratulations again for the 3 years. Glad to be walking through this journey with you, and I'll stay tuned.
All right. Thank you for growing and glowing with me here today, and I will definitely see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for growing and glowing with me here today, and I will definitely see you next time. All right, you guys. I have my next guest in the room. I thought I was off camera, y'all. Did y'all see that? But I wasn't. I'm gonna fix me a drink real quick. I got my energy cup. I'm gonna make me a quick cleanse. I'm gonna fix me a drink real quick. I got my energy cup. Before I bring on my next guest, he is in the waiting room. My next guest is Jake Campbell. That is my baby brother. He has been a guest on the Quality of Life and Recovery podcast. He is a father, an amazing resource for me as my baby brother. He has taken out 15 minutes of his Sunday to be here with me today. You guys help me to welcome J.A. CSR Camp is in the building. You guys help me to welcome J.A. CSR Camp. Jonathan, you there?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Jay Senior is in the building.
What's going on, man?
Happy Sunday to you,
Same
little
to you.
bro.
Yeah, what's going on, man? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard some background noise or something.
It is. So I just wanted to thank you for tapping in to hang out with me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And so the quality of life category for the month of April is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. I did share with the listening audience that you have joined me in the previous podcast on the Quality of Life and Recovery podcast. You've been busy though. I see you, pretty active on social media. And so I just wanted to hear from you what some of your concerns are about mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being of it could be for yourself, uh, for young people, for old people. What are your thoughts about the quality of life category, the topic for the month of April?
So you said it's pretty much physical, mental.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I could talk about the physical part, like where I'm at now, like as
Okay.
far as my little journey that I've been on. I do due to a little bit of your help as well, watching your social media posts and stuff, and watching some of your TikTok videos and stuff. But like I got really sick. Well, I didn't get sick. I let myself get sick. Like I was eating a lot of bad food and stuff, and got really sick behind eating it, and wound up in the hospital. And I decided that I had to make a change, either to go forward the way I was eating, the way I was living, as far as like taking care of my physical. And I made a decision to like start eating healthy and kind of dang, that background killing me.
Me too.
um I'll try to do my best. But so what I did was I made a decision to start taking care of my health and taking not so much taking care of it. I've always pretty much like took care of myself, but I never really took it serious, until like when COVID hit, it kind of let me, get that little freedom of, well, I ain't around people, nobody's seeing me, I can pick up these bad habits and stuff, and that's what happened. And so I continued after COVID, using COVID as an excuse. But like I said, when I wound up in the hospital, I knew I had to make a change. So, from the day I got out of the hospital, I started just like eliminating the bad stuff, all the bad stuff that I was doing, the energy drinks, the chips, the sugar, all the unhealthy stuff. And then I just stripped that away, and then I was left with pretty much nothing. So like I had to figure out, okay, I don't know too much about eating healthy. I don't know too much about like my body that much, because I've always just put whatever I wanted in it. And so I said, you know what? I'm just gonna, watch what other people are doing, do some research, and whatever worked for me. I wasn't gonna put no restrictions on, like, I wanted to go plant-based, but then, I was like, what if I don't like it? But I might like it, so I was like, I'm not gonna put any restrictions on anything that I'm doing, because that'll make it more difficult. I just ain't gonna eat the stuff that I was eating. That was the only restriction I had. And so I just started watching what I was eating, putting time limits on when I ate, because that was another little thing that I was doing, I was eating whenever I wanted to eat. You know what I mean? And I wake up in the middle of the night, eat, morning, eat. So I said, you know what? From 8 o'clock at night to 9 o'clock. Oh no, when I started off, it's like 8 o'clock at night to like noon. I fast. I didn't eat nothing. I might have drunk some water or whatever, until my body got used to not having that food in it. That hunger thing went away. And then I started introducing, like, breakfast and stuff, and fruits and stuff in the morning. But like right now I fast from 8 or 9, depending on when I get off work and I settle down. I'll fast from 8 or 9 at night to like 9, 10 the next morning, and then I'll have lunch, and then a light dinner. But I lost a lot of weight doing it. Like a lot of my symptoms are gone, like the acid reflux and the tiredness. A lot of stuff has went away without medication, without any no type of help as far as pharmaceutical, all like natural. I'm planning on getting into herbals and all that eventually, but I just wanted to get the weight down and get that under control. So that's been my little journey, trying to get healthier, not just dieting, but just living healthier. And the mental, I would say like once I started um taking care of that physical, my mental just started to fall into place too, because I started journaling again, taking that more seriously, and watching myself more instead of others. I think that's a big thing, is I find myself, I know other people do, but I find myself, too worried about what everyone else is doing and how they're living. And I forget about me, and then I'm falling apart. And then by the time I notice me, I'm all fell apart. And I'm like, oh, I got to do all this new work. So I just been, just sticking to the things that worked for me in the past, like journaling, trying to get a more spiritual connection with God and, the earth itself. It's not so much, you know, it's not so much the people anymore. It's like what the earth has to offer, out getting outside and, like right now I'm sitting here with my son. We're about to go in here and, play golf, whatever, miniature golf or whatever, it's doing things like that because I understand that, staying in the house and being isolated and stuff like keeps me away from, the nature of the world and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. It's been a little journey, like I said, I've been watching you and other people, that inspire me. And I'm like, well, I just had to ask her, like, if they can do it and they seem to be happy with doing it, maybe it'll work for me. And, I've kept that attitude and, things are getting better, like every day is a challenge, because sometimes I want to go back and, I have some feelings or a bad day or something. I want to go eat my feelings away or whatever. And I got to remind myself that's not what you do anymore. You just deal with the feelings and let them pass. And then if you're hungry afterwards and you feel that you need to eat, you're going to eat the right way versus just grabbing some stuff out the store and just, eating it. But yeah, my mental is really good. No medication or anything like that. Just, all natural, everything. I like to have anything against medication or anything like that. It's just I decided not to go that route. I've done that route before as, as far as medicine and stuff like that. And I would get to a point with the medication and I get to a point where I start feeling good and then stop taking the medicine. But then my mental will start to tell me, well, you need that. And then I'll start to like feel as if, I'm going backwards and then life is out of control because I'm not taking the medicine when I just wasn't doing the work to keep up the mental. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing, just living life, man, just that's it, just enjoying it, because it's not promised tomorrow. And, I'm starting to understand that more. Like that's a real thing. Like it is not promised tomorrow, it's not even promised today, so starting to realize that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
Man, I love that hat, Jonathan. That lime
Oh,
green. Is that the Bucks?
yeah, they play today.
Man, that's nice. But you have me worried, Jonathan, because you are another person that takes advantage of social media and you share generously about what you're going through. But you have me worried, and so it's good to hear that you created, identified a plan of self-care for
Mhm.
yourself. And man, I'm glad to hear that you're motivated by what I'm doing. When you gonna join me in one of these 15-day challenges, these 15-day fitness challenges?
Well, I just did like my first like what is it, 21 day of like doing something for 21 days
Okay.
consecutively. And I just did well, what was it? Oh, it was emotional telling myself good things,
Oh,
just telling myself
affirmation.
positive affirmation, yeah, telling myself
Yeah.
positive
Okay.
things. And then that's another thing. It's like the first few days, it was like, man, this feels so weird, And then by the time I got to the 21st day, it's like, okay. And then I was done with it. And then now I'm just doing it naturally. So that like that thing that really does work, So yeah, I'm ready to introduce some other stuff into
Yeah.
it.
We got to speak over ourselves, encourage ourselves, man. You got to stick around because you got a ton of people. You got a whole legacy
Right.
walking in your footsteps. So, Jonathan, I've always loved some of your TikTok posts when you talk about you've been thinking, right? So,
Mhm.
where do you want to go in regards to understanding? I've seen you post things about environmental awareness, understanding like climate, agriculture, that whole thing. Where do you see yourself going in regards to the development of that platform. When can we expect your podcast, Jonathan?
Well, I mean, right now I'm just like researching and getting, fact checking and stuff because I don't want to, get on any type of social media and start giving out the wrong information, and start, spreading things that aren't true. So, yeah, I'm on a journey. I'm taking it, day by day. But yeah, I'm gonna get there as soon as I'm comfortable enough in like the knowledge I gain, and I'm able to like give it back to everybody else and stuff like that wants to hear it.
Well, yeah, my thing with this, if you give out misinformation, the only way that people can find out that is wrong is if they do the research and find out. So
Right.
it's a win-win.
Right,
Because
right,
I get
right.
all right. I get to find out that I'm wrong, number one, and then I get to learn about what I didn't know. And then not only did I learn about what I didn't know, you did some research and you learned a little bit more too. So I helped you. That's
Yeah,
how
that's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah.
right. That's how we working that one. And so, Jonathan, I just wanted to thank you, man, for being who you are in my life. Number one, I'm really grateful that we got the opportunity to know each other. Number one, because that didn't have to be the case. And then not only that, we're gonna continue to grow together as we move forward into the later stages of our lives. And so before you get out of here, though, I just wanted you to leave some parting words of encouragement. You said you've been affirming yourself. So for the young people out there, is your son in the car with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's going on, nephew? So for the young people out there, what words of encouragement would you like to leave with anybody who might listen to the replay in regards to concerns for the generation following us, the millennials? We got the millennials, Generation Z, and then Generation Alpha, and then I don't know what comes after Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha, those were the kids that were born between 2010, 2020. Generation Z is 1996 to 2010, and then we're the millennials. So, what words of encouragement do you have to leave for the young folks, for the young people? Closing out. I think, he left. All right. We're going to keep this thing moving. I got my next guest in the building. Erica is here. She has been a guest on the Quality of Life and Recovery podcast. She is in the room. She is the author of a mental health journey, the journal, I think it is, the mental health journal. Um, she is an author, a mental health advocate. Erica Hutchinson is in the waiting room. It is called, her journal is called The Mental Release. Y'all can follow her on Instagram or go to www.powermrj.com. That's where you can find her journal. You guys help me to welcome Erica H. What's going on, Erica?
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
It's good to see you.
Good seeing you too.
Thanks.
Thank you for being so patient and
Awesome.
waiting.
You could kind of see my desk. Okay. I think that's good enough. Is it okay? Can you see me okay?
Yes, I can see you great.
Okay, cool. I like this haircut.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
tried to, do something extra, for the 3-year anniversary.
It looks good.
Yeah, I don't get out much. I don't dress up much, but
But you run your marathons.
hey, I got to.
Yeah,
Otherwise, these bones will get brittle and break
man.
down.
It's that we get into that age where it's like if you don't move it, you lose it.
Mhm. Man, but most importantly, I'm just most concerned about my mind. Nothing more important than your mind. If your mind is gone, if your brain is bad, baby,
Absolutely.
it's not a good look. So, in regards to the quality of life category for the month of April, Erica, it is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. You, Erica, have decided to go back to school. Not only did you decide to go back to school, you went back to school for social work.
I did. I did.
Talk to us a little bit.
So with my journal, mental release, uh, a journey to emotional freedom and expression, my mind left me. I wrote a curriculum surrounded, about the book, around the book. And so as I was doing this curriculum, I was thinking like, hey, I know that this curriculum could be up here, but my knowledge is like here. So I decided that I needed to go back to school so that I can increase my knowledge so I can make my curriculum super good. And also some spaces I was trying to get into to promote my book and do different facilitations for men's group and surrounding mental health. People like to see that you have higher education. So even though I'm smart and I kind of know what I'm talking about and I am helpful in this space, people want to see those letters behind my name. So in order to give myself some credibility and even to make myself more knowledgeable in the subject, I decided to go back to school.
So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you. And so, like looking back, do you feel like you would have done it differently? Like, do you feel like it happened just the way it was supposed to? Do you feel like you would have written the journal after you went back to school, or?
No, I think everything happens in the timing that it's supposed to happen.
Absolutely.
So I'm grateful for the experiences that I had that led me to writing this journal. And I'm grateful that I'm able to go to school at this time. Now, so I wrote the journal in 2020. Maybe it would have been better if I would have gone to school in the same year I wrote the journal, or even maybe 2 years after I wrote the journal. But even still, when I wrote the journal, I didn't expect to actually make a curriculum out of it. I just thought it was like, okay, we're going to do this journal. It's going to be one and done, and I'm going to do something else with my life. But the way things are working out, it's like, hey, this journal is your life. And so we need to cultivate it and gain the knowledge to be able to push it globally along with the curriculum. So I'm happy with the way things have turned out. Now, maybe I think that I would have preferred to go when I was younger, like maybe 2 years ago, because I was younger and I had like more, I had more time, I had more patience, I had more mental capacity to learn and not be stressed out. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. So I'm grateful for the season that I'm in, and we're just working through it.
Yeah. So you got to tell me a little bit more about this math that they have given you, this statistics. That looks like that. Are you in the doctoral program or are you in the master's program?
I am not. This is strictly a master's of social work. So I'm in a research class, and basically, when you're a social worker, you do research studies to see how well a theory works or how well intervention works. And you collect data from those research projects. And you have to be able to analyze the data to see how effective the treatment was. So basically, this is just a class showing me, this part of the class is showing me how to analyze data, taking the mean and the median and the average of data, how to make flow charts from the data. And the funny thing is, I was always in honors math classes, so this is stuff that I know how to do. It's just nothing that I expected to do at this age. Like I thought I was done with math. So it's not hard, it's just tedious and not relearning, but like refreshing my memory from the stuff. So it's not difficult, but it is like, okay, we got to refresh this 37-year-old mind. So that's what it is.
So, Erica, you better talk that talk. You said the means, median, and the average. You better talk that statistical stuff. So, Erica, I called you a mental health advocate before you logged in as I was introducing you. And I've been to two events in the last couple of weeks. One was it was a mental health seminar for the intersection of men's health and cancer, mental health and cancer, the intersection men's health and cancer. And then I've also started. Have you heard about the book, Courtney B. Vance's book, The Invisible Eight?
I've heard, I didn't know it was Courtney B. Vance's book, but I have heard that title, yes.
Yeah. And so Ayala Van Zant started a book study that's current for 5 weeks, every Thursday from, I think, 7 o'clock to 9:30. And so it's on Zoom. And I participated in the first week of that. But one of the trends that I noticed is the heaviness that was in the room, virtually and in person. And so when it comes to the heaviness, for me, this is the way I interpreted it. Yeah, is that there are a lot of us that are not doing the work, right? To release ourselves of just the strain and the stress that comes along with modern life, right? You talked about the curriculum that you developed for the journal. In what way would you like to? You talked about going global with it. And in what way would you like to see your journal referred to as a resource or utilized as a resource for men to address this ache that we have in the unfinished business that we're living with?
So I think you brought up a good point when you said people aren't doing the work to help themselves. And I think that's the first step. There are a lot of people that I talk to that say, well, there are no spaces. There are no resources. There's nothing. We just are taught to deal with this. But then there are spaces, there are resources. You just have to be willing to put in the work to look for those spaces and those places. The Mental Release Journal, even I thought there wasn't like a lot of resources for men to express their emotions and have a space for that. But after me writing my book and, trying to find community around my book, there are a lot. And people have been doing this for a long time to give men that space. So I just want to be a part of the community that's already doing this work. I don't necessarily have to be just, how sometimes people start something and they just want to be the only one that's doing it. I would like to partnership. I would like to collaborate so that the Mental Release Journal and the curriculum can be a tool along with, another mental health professional that's doing this type of work. So when I say I want to go global, I want these journals in my curriculum in the prison system. I want these journal in my curriculum to go to different high schools. I don't think it's really good for grammar schools. So I'm more so looking towards like high schools, colleges. I would like to be like have you know how different churches have like the men's groups and they do retreats. Bring me on your retreat. Let me facilitate, you know, a couple of hours with this journal just so we can become self-aware and so that we can start the process of learning who we are and why we behave the way we behave. And when I say we, I mean the men, you know. So I just think that it's important to first recognize that you want to be better and that there is a problem and that you are operating out of a place that's not authentic to how you really feel. And because, you know, men, everybody, we build up walls to protect ourselves from things that we've gone through in the past. But if we can recognize that and actually look and do the work to better ourselves, then we'll find the resources that's out there.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Erica. One of the things that I'm cheating a little bit. I'm looking at your Instagram page.
Okay.
And so the last thing I saw you post was it says self-awareness is all about one thing. And for me, like what I've observed in my life experience, is that usually I don't get to a place of self-awareness unless somebody dies, right? If somebody dies or there is a global catastrophe like
Something major.
2020. Yeah. And so what do you suggest people, not just men, but people start doing on a daily basis to increase self-awareness? Because that's not a one-shot deal, right? You don't just,
No.
Yeah.
No, like
Yeah.
I think it's a lifelong journey because
Okay.
we change day to day, you know. Some things that were important to us last week can have no significance to us this week. So I
Right.
think it's a conscious effort to continually question ourselves. How do I feel in this moment? Why am I feeling this way in this moment? How have I changed from last week? How have I improved? How is my mood? Why is my mood this way? So I think it's really about having a relationship with ourselves, talking to ourselves, and questioning how we feel and why we feel that way. And with the hustle and bustle of every day, I've never been so busy in my life. Like this ever since I started school, it's like everything is just rushy, rushy, rushy. I have no free time. So I understand how life can get in the way of actually taking that moment of stillness to check in with self. That's what I like to call it, check in with self. But in order to try and be okay in the world that we're in now, we have to have a good relationship with ourselves. And you don't have a relationship with yourself if you don't communicate well with yourself. So the mental release journal is also about learning how to communicate with yourself. Because if we don't communicate well with ourselves, then our outside relationships, they'll be strained too, you know? So this journal is about communication. So I think to be self-aware, we have to talk to ourselves. How do I feel? What went well? What am I proud of myself for? What are my goals for this week? What am I going to prioritize this week so that I can have a better next week? And it's not easy because doing any type of self-reflection is not fun. You know, who wants to sit up and be uncomfortable? Because conversations can be uncomfortable, especially vulnerable conversations. And it's just so easy to quiet that internal voice and do things that make us feel good. So we quiet that voice with drinking, we quiet it with entertainment, drugs, alcohol, sexual activity. But when it all boils down to it, when are we going to get real and have those uncomfortable conversations so that we could be better? And that's just the goal, my life's goal.
And so for you, Erica, like you check in with self on social media, and you so raw and honest and real. So what happened for you where you realized like, hey, like this is an aspect of me that needs to be addressed, like the self as you referred it to it as? Like, when did you identify that was a thing? Or
I'm not gonna lie, I do not remember.
okay, okay. Okay.
But I know that, like in my 20s, I was not, I don't know if anybody else would recognize this, but if I had to compare who Erica was in her 20s to who Erica is in her 30s, I like 30s Erica better. Like I
Yes.
would not, I think in my 20s I was arrogant, I was uptight, I was and I think that all stemmed from being like insecure.
Okay.
And so I did sabotage relationships, always just uptight and not fun to be around when it comes down to it. So, but
Right.
now in my 30s, it's like, why were you like that? Like, what was the deal in you? But I think it was due to stress. Like I said, it was due to being insecure. And so now I just think my whole thing is this: if you feel good about yourself and you just feel, you know, authentically you, it's easy to appreciate the beauty in other people.
Okay.
You know, like healed people heal people. You know, just like hurt people hurt people. So I really want people to be healed so that it's all about love. And it just sounds so cliche. And it's like, oh, Erica, you know, you live in a fantasy world. But if we don't have like one person, each person reach one person, you know, and it'd be like a domino effect of like healed people healing people. And then we have like this just perfect little existence that'll never happen because of the world we live in, but it's okay to dream, right? So I just think it stems from the desire to want to be a positive impact wherever I go. Like when I enter a room, I want people to feel loved and feel delight. You know, I want people to see, you know, my genuine spirit. I want people to feel my energy rating off of me, and then they feel good about themselves. So that's the main goal.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, one last thing. Like we gotta live with ourselves. Like we the only we gotta live with ourselves 24/7. And it don't feel good to live with somebody you do not like. So it's important for me to like myself because I gotta be with myself all the time. So there's that.
So, Erica, like when you say you have to learn to like yourself, like I very much value me today. I celebrate me today. But I've been doing that all my life because I'm my mama's only child. But just to be honest, the part of me that I don't like, the part of me that I would not date if I had to look at, if I had to date me, is I don't like me poor.
Okay.
I don't like me without money.
Understood.
And so I'm struggling with that though, because I don't want to be one of those people who, is profit driven, right? And
Mhm.
so in regards to the separation, like what do you think that people need to do to get the balance, right? Like how can I walk in with the glow, but not the glow not be the goal to get your money, right?
I
Like,
think it's important to define ourselves on things that someone cannot take from us.
okay.
So we can't define ourselves from our job. We cannot define ourselves by if we have a spouse or not. We can't define ourselves by the type of car we drive. So the materialistic things, those things are futile. You know, I hope that's the right word. I got a cold, so I'm like got brain fog and everything. But I just think it's important to define ourselves based off our character
Okay.
and things that inherently make us us and not things that somebody else can get. Okay, somebody else can get a Porsche. Somebody else can get a G-Wagon. Who cares about that? How are you as a person? How do you treat people? What are your motivations behind your actions? Like, what are your intentions with the work that you're doing? Is it just to make money or is it to, you know, make an actual difference? And so, yeah, money is good. But, and I've been poor before. I don't, I don't know if I would consider myself poor now, but I don't even think about money. Like money just comes, you know? I do work, but it's like I don't depend on money I don't depend on my job to be my source because I know that money is always gonna come. So I don't Yeah, money is just money to me. It's gonna come
Okay.
and it's gonna go, and everything is gonna be okay regardless.
Yeah. You mentioned two things though. You talked about intention, like in what's the intention that I'm operating in.
Mhm.
And then you also talked about it's escaping me now, the other thing you said that I wanted to refer to. But the one that's the word that's really, really popular right now is authenticity.
Okay.
Yeah. And so having something that people can't take away from you. And so like being 100% who you are and being okay with that. And so I'm looking at your sweatshirt, Erica. It says your personal hype woman. So tell the listening audience how they can find you, how they can hire you as their personal hype woman if they need you, if they need to reach out to you.
So the best way I would say would be my Instagram. I'm Erica X Hutchinson on Instagram. A disclaimer, I have not posted in a while because school is taking a toll. There's
Yeah,
not much to do outside of school and work, but
yeah.
that is the best place, Erica X Hutchinson. I do have a website, ourmrj.com. My email, Erica at Our MRJ. Our MRJ is OUR, like our mental release journey, because I never want people to feel alone in life. It's always somebody that cares, always a community. So
Yeah, I revised the cliche with my last guest, and I said instead of saying it takes a village to raise a child, we need to start saying it takes a village to heal and to improve.
absolutely.
So,
I
Erica,
agree.
just want to thank you for hanging out with me this little bit of time that you have been.
Thanks for having
I'm
me.
looking forward to you doing some really, really amazing stuff, going global as a personal hype woman for the universe, Mars and the Martians. If you need her, y'all know where to find. Y'all know where to find Erica Hutchinson. So, Erica, thank you. I
Thank
shake
you.
until next time. Peace and blessings. See you.
Bye.
Bye bye. And so, you guys, I'm going to crank up a little bit of music. I got my next guest in the room. We're going to bring her in a few minutes. I'm going to make me another drink, another cleanse. This 3-year anniversary celebration is brought to you by Jimmy the Experiential. I am your mindful moderator, your king of misinformation. And then also, I am an inspiring network marketer. And this 3-year anniversary experience is brought to you by one of my favorite products. I'm doing the tamarind cleanse today. We got a ton of products. We got the NRG in the building, the ISO brew. Bam! Let's go. Come on, KRS-One, don't do me wrong. Let's go. I'll be back. I gotta get something to drink. I'm back. Figured out how to get this delay off. I had two recordings running. So you get the Zoom running, and then you get the YouTube live running at the same time. Y'all check out my energy cups with Leela Q Technologies. Y'all check them out. They got a lot of great information about energetic well-being, a lot of products, kind of expensive, but I like it. If you're into that kind of thing, I'm a little on the woo-woo side, you guys. More amazing products here. Jimmy, the experiential one is also your neighborhood life changer. Let's go. So you guys help me welcome my next guest. She is in the room as well. Emily Nicole has been a guest on the Quality of Life and Recovery podcast in the past. She is the author of Cutters is the name of the book, and Touch. Cutters and Touch. That's one of her lives. That came up by accident. And where'd the books go? Cutters and Touch are two of her books. He is in the room. Let's see. I told her I would bring her in 5 minutes. That was at 4 minutes ago. You're here with Jimmy the Experiential. This is this live is the third anniversary of the Mzizi4 Life Coaching Solutions and the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. I am the not executive director, James. You are the clinical director of the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. Stay tuned because I got a couple funnels. I created my first course offering. I'm going to release it. It's a beta, you guys. So don't be too hard on me. This whole initiative is a beta. It's the beginning, right? The beta is the beginning. They roll it out and then perfect it as you move forward. So you guys help me to welcome Emily Nicole. Hey. Come on, Carolyn. Says she's joining, so. Yeah, you there? Your audio is slowly connecting.
How are you? I'm sorry, I missed all of that you said. How you doing though?
I'm doing great.
Good.
So good to see you.
Same, it's good to see you too.
Yeah, we get to do Where Are They Now? What are you doing now? I let the listening audience know that you are the author of Touch, Complexities of Human Emotion, and then Cutters, the continuation, the complexities of human emotion.
Yes, sir.
You accompanied me on the Quality of Life and Recovery podcast, and you're here today on the 3rd anniversary.
Congratulations too.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. But the Quality of Life category for the month of April is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. I think your work supports or blends into those topics really, really well. And so
Thank you.
I'm gonna just go open it up to you. Where would you like to go in regards to those topics? Mental,
Yeah, let's start with
vibration,
mental.
vibrational and physiological well-being. Where would you like to go?
Let's start with the mental aspects. That's really
Okay.
that's really my thing. This mental health. And like I always say, this is just as important as physical health, So with the books that I have, we talk about everything from bipolar disorder, depression, schizophrenia, and they're all issues that people in the real world deal with, and they're not talked about, and they're not taken care of the way they should be. That's
And so I was sharing with your baby sis. She was here a few minutes ago.
yeah.
And so you guys are a sibling team of mental health advocates. Would you say you guys have different niches or different areas of interest?
We do. Mine is fictional, and hers is
Okay.
very much real life for the man. She's really trying to capture the man. Not capture, I don't want to say capture, maybe, but she's really right. Yeah, right. She's really trying to, delve into that lane with the man to get. So her thinking, I believe, is you get the man, and once they have that aspect of themselves put together, they can go and be great leaders for the family, or not even for the family, great leaders for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's her lane. Mine is very much mental health, and it's very much real life situations and circumstances, but it's just fictional. So that I'm hoping that it's a softer landing pad because it's fictional. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's the gut punch that it needs to be. I feel like we need gut punches in the world today, because everything is so soft, and it's good to be soft, but you gotta, with mental health, I feel like you really just gotta go for it and jump in there, talk about it, deal with it.
Yeah. Emily, did you say gut punchers?
Yeah, I did say gut punch.
Like
Yes,
gut,
yes,
gut
like gut punch. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we discussed that in the last interview too, just about the recognizing the self as an aspect of who we are. And I just want to, I'm going to go run and get your book real quick. Hold on one second. I'm going to go get the book.
Okay, I'll wait here.
Okay. So one of the things the Quality of Life and Recovery Center wants to do is to be able to provide resources for people who are in the acute stages of recovery, personal reconstruction. But this book is definitely going to be one of the resources.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, and so when you talk about the gut puncher, though, and so I was just sharing that for me, the gut puncher for me that even led to the development of this initiative was me losing my grandfather, right?
Well, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the midst of 2020, summer 2020, in the midst of all that was going on in regards to George Floyd, the race, social, emotional strain of the world,
Yeah.
then we had the political craziness
Yeah.
with the person that responsible for the global direction of this world at that time. So that was the gut puncher for me.
Okay.
And that's when I realized that, and then I was, I'm away from my family and I got back, to where I live. And I was like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I felt myself slipping into that dark space. And I
Okay.
just remember making a conscious decision. I was like, hey, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And so it just so happened that I was introduced to a life coaching course at that time, giving me the opportunity to participate in a life coaching course. And then it just kind of went from there. And so when you talk about the gut puncher and the aspect, the idea about self-harm, I think you really do a great job, even though you
Thank
say it's
you.
fictional,
Mm-hmm.
in educating us about self-harm. And so, what do you think, are some of the things that kind of lead a person to a place where they separate from the healthy aspect of who we are to the degree where they start to engage in self-harm? What do you think happens there?
I think it is a feeling that tends to go unnoticed. So you just not so much unnoticed even because you know that there's something there, there's a change within you, but you don't know what to do about it. You're afraid to talk to someone about it because people are very judgmental in the world. So I feel like it starts there, and it festers, it grows. And after a while it gets out of control and there's nothing that you can think positively to do about it because you're still afraid to talk to anyone about it. So you go inward. I'll do things to give myself back that control over my own body, over my own feelings. You know what I mean? So they'll self-harm, do drugs, drink an excessive amount of alcohol just to feel better from a feeling that had it been taken care of sooner, it wouldn't have festered and grown into the mountain that it will become if you don't take care of it.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about Dr. Umar, but he was just talking about he was saying that people who are who sleep around, they usually have a level of emotional harm that hasn't been addressed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I was like that is kind of deep. But you talked about the shame, right? People don't open up and um talk about what they're feeling because the world is so judgmental. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things I noticed, Emily. I've been in two really two amazing events in the last 2 weeks,
Okay.
specifically designed to address the unmet mental health needs of men of color, primarily. But what I noticed is the heaviness that was in the room.
Yeah.
And I felt like the heaviness was there because there was just so much of unresolved or unaddressed
Yeah.
internal pain.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been in any events where you felt that? I feel it at funerals sometimes.
I do feel it at funerals sometimes. I'm involved with a group here in Chicago, Treatment Not Trauma, and I went to one of their meetings and, it started off as a light environment, but as the more we were together and the more we talked about those mental health issues that are not talked about, the heavier the atmosphere got. So yeah, and then I've been in situations just with myself where I can feel heaviness creeping onto me, personally. So yeah, I've been in those situations for sure. And again, if you're not comfortable with talking to someone else about internal pain, you gotta write it out or something because
Yeah.
again, that'll fester and it can get out of control really quickly.
I like the name of that group, Treatment Not Trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. And so, in regards to the Quality of Life and Recovery Center, we're looking for everyday life strategies to improve quality of life. When you talk about treatment, what are some of the things that you think people need to do, we need to do in order to make treatment seem like less of a disadvantage? Like, how do we make treatment sexier and more seductive?
That's a really, really good question. I'm not sure I have the answer to it. That's a really great question. I don't know. I feel like, again, it has to do a lot with the stigma of mental health. So if you've got this really bad stigma, mental health is horrible, you're a crazy person, something is wrong with you. If you have that stigma, you know, treatment is not going to be roses and rainbows. You know, who can imagine what that treatment is going to be like if the actual issue that you're dealing with is dark and heavy? You're going to think treatment is going to be excessively dark and heavy, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. I think talk therapy and therapists don't get enough credit because they have a heavy job ahead of them trying to help each patient that they have, trying to help them navigate their feelings and think of better ways to, you know, deal with those feelings, both physically and mentally and emotionally. So I definitely don't think therapists get a lot of, they don't get their flowers for the work that they do. But to make it sexier, I don't know, think about how much better you'll feel when you have your issues resolved, or you're working towards resolving your issues. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. Something I'll have to think about for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some work with myself because I feel bad now about putting those two words in the same sentence.
What's the word?
Sex and treatment.
Oh,
But
yeah. Okay.
I mean, sex sells, unfortunately, and
Yeah, it does.
we have to make, you know, self-development, self-improvement seductive. Like, I guess that's the most, you know, that's the way to persuade people, you know, into getting help for themselves, you know,
Yeah.
finding some support for themselves. And so, Emily, I wanted to ask you about this that's written above your head. It said, is spoken here. Is there more at the top of
It is. At the top, it says love is spoken here.
Love is spoken here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Love is
Yeah.
spoken here.
Mhm.
And so I guess, you know, when it comes to treatment though, treatment is a form of, you know, finding love, right?
Within yourself, for sure. Number
Yes,
one, most importantly, finding
yeah.
love within yourself is I think the main, not even just the main goal, but the main, I don't know.
The purpose of life, really.
There
I
you
feel
go.
like,
There it is. The main purpose. That's it.
yeah, I really feel. I mean, but like, but we're led to believe that that's selfish. Like, if I'm, you know, focusing too much on gratifying me, doing
Myself,
things,
yeah.
yeah, then I'm self, you know, I'm selfish. I'm self-absorbed.
Right.
But Emily, I think that that's been the greatest revelation to me in regards to creating like a brand or working to build this initiative. Is I've really found myself and found something that, you know, I love even on the rough days.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been basically silenced in a lot of respects because I feel really like I've been calling myself the king of
That's good.
misinformation.
Of misinformation. I'm glad that you're finding this stuff out about yourself though, and that you're learning this now, because some people they never learn to love themselves, you know. They just go through life, and you have to be selfish sometimes, because I don't think that you can give to other people if you don't give to yourself. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so frightening. You know, I know people, I've seen people, you know, and I see what it looks like for a person to never establish healthy contact with who the core of who
Right.
they are.
Right.
Yeah, that's so frightening.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
As of
because
right in reality.
it bleeds into the society, you
Mhm.
know, yeah. So
Yeah. So was that the experience for you? Like when you decided to become an author, was that the thing that helped you to validate?
I don't know if we talked about this before. We may have on the last podcast, but I dealt with my own mental illness for a very long time.
Okay.
So I know that the things that I did not receive when I was battling with my own stuff, I wanted to put it out into the book so that people could deal with their stuff, you know. So yeah, I think a lot of it for me is experience and wanting to get that message out there. I think a lot of it is that my own personal experiences with it. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. And so what was the thing like? What was the thing that what was the life saver where you real like for you? Like what was the like when you realize like, hey, there's an alternative. I don't have to go under. I don't have to drown.
My faith was really, and it still is really, a big, major part of my life, and just my faith. I didn't want to disappoint the Lord, if that makes any sense. But I didn't want to disappoint the Lord. I didn't want to disappoint myself. I didn't want to disappoint my family. And so I had to, and I was in a really dark place. I had to just keep fighting to pull myself out of that place, to get to a place where I wanted to better myself so that I could better my community, the one that I live in, the ones I don't live in. And again, that's how the books came about, because I just wanted to, get that word out there about mental health, about your own loving yourself, and it's not an easy thing to do. I think I'm still learning how to love myself and how to trust myself. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a lifelong journey. It's never over.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
um, because there's a new version of me that I see in the mirror every day, and so
Uh-huh.
I have to I have to make a commitment to do something to accept him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, so we're here on a Sunday, right? You talked
Mhm.
about not wanting to disappoint your higher power, the Lord.
Mhm.
I think we share in that experience. I think that's always going to be my I don't care like how people talk about church, how
Yeah.
people talk down about religion. That's hey, like that was the introduction for me, and I would look
Right.
crazy. I would feel crazy without having that as my standard,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Not wanting to disappoint the Lord. Now it could be, not wanting to disappoint goodness, light,
Right.
what's
Mhm.
right, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
So a cliche that I've been introduced to is the opportunity to kind of rest in peace. All
Okay.
right. We refer to it in the afterlife, like after death, right?
Right.
But there is a possibility to rest in peace while we are alive.
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
I do believe that's true.
So Emily, one of the things for the whole thing for 2024 is shared social experiences,
Okay.
right? There are 12 of them. That comes from an article in therapist.com.
Mm.
And in that article, they talk about the mental health concerns of millennials.
Okay.
So, are your observations, your concerns about what you see, the unmet need for millennials? Can you talk about that a little bit? What do you think? What do you think needs to be done in order to provide resources and support for individuals between the ages of born between the ages of 1981 and 1996?
I think, to be honest with you, I feel like more millennials are realizing that therapy is a useful tool. Now you do have those that don't believe that. I know here in Chicago they have closed quite a few mental health facilities. We are working to get some of those back open, but again, I think the majority of because I'm a millennial, the majority of the people my age, you know, they talk about, hey, I talked to my therapist today and they said blah, 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 you know, whatever. So a lot of us are seeking that help that we need. And those of us that aren't, I feel, are more apt to go and seek therapy because they'll see that it's, you know, not a bad thing. There's so many of us that are already doing it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like the that age bracket, your age bracket, is doing a good job embracing the idea of
I do. I
mental
think we've gotten, yeah, I think we've gotten a lot better with it.
health.
In previous years, you know, I don't feel that I don't even think people thought mental health was a thing, you know. Personally, I just don't think that they thought it was, you know, they just put everything together as crazy. Something's wrong with that person, they're crazy. But it's so much deeper than that. And I think once we realized that fact that mental health is deeper than just throwing a label on somebody, again, more of us, more millennials started to flock towards therapy or some type of activity to get them out of their mental distress. I know a lot of people go for walks, a lot of people ride their bikes, they go hiking. So it's not just all about talk therapy, it's finding ways to get yourself out of the funk that you're in. And again, I think a lot of millennials they've made that change and that decision to do that.
I just wanted to say, I know I'm most encouraged by your generation, the
We're the
millenniums,
best.
because millennials, I'm sorry, because y'all some movers and shakers.
We're the best.
Yeah, well, we go,
Yeah,
we go, I'm gonna leave
I
that one
got you.
alone.
Yeah, okay.
But I just want to thank you, you know, Emily, for all that you're doing, continuing to pour out. You guys make sure you check out the offerings of Emily Nicole.
Yes,
Emily, you want to tell the listening audience, anybody that might watch the replay, what they can expect from you, where they can find you if they
you
need
can.
this book?
Yeah, if you need, I have 2 books out. So if you need either of the books, you can get them at complexitiesofhumanemotions.com. You can find me on Instagram at COHE_novels. I pop around in the city every once in a while, so you can find me there. But any information there, anywhere that I'm going to be will be on the website. Again, that's at complexitiesofhumanemotions.com. Thank you, James, for having me today, and congratulations again on your anniversary. I think you're doing great things with your channel, and I wish nothing but the best for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily, for hanging out with me. And not only does she pop up around the city, she's available globally because she posts often.
I attempt to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for all you continuing to pour out into the world, Emily.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for showing up and hanging out with me today. Ashe,
For
until
sure.
next time.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
Good. You're welcome. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we're gonna take a break, y'all. We are back. Hold on. Wait a minute. No, we're not. Okay, we're back, you guys. And if you're just logging in, if you're just checking out this live that is running, you are here with Jimmy, the experiential one. And this is a live in celebration of the 3rd year of the Quality of Life and Recovery Center's existence. Wait a minute. And so let me see if it'll let me save. Is it let me save? And so I was just making some adjustments to the live video. Is it going back? I don't know what's going on. Next year, we'll make sure that I have some technical assistance because, man, it won't give me the option. Can I save it? What's going on? Let me see. Channel content. Save. Let's see. And so what I did was I just uploaded the first funnel that I have created. The cat is down there doing what she doing. I don't know what she doing, rambling through stuff. But Mzizi4, the Quality of Life and Recovery Center has created its first funnel, my first offer, you guys, which is the 2-hand 10-toe plan for personal development and self-improvement. Y'all check it out. It is a beta test. It is a beta run. Y'all check it out. Let me know if it's something that you might be interested in. Leo, please knock it off. What you are doing, because she is distracting me. But I have posted the first funnel. I want you guys, if you are looking for a funnel developer, Adebowale, I think his name is pronounced. Y'all can find him on Upworks or on Facebook. He developed that first funnel for me. Did an incredible job. You guys support him if you can. Yeah, the Quality of Life and Recovery Center strives to provide a values-driven, experiential approach to personal development and self-improvement. And we got our first offer, y'all. It is the 2-hand 10-toe plan for personal development and self-improvement. That funnel was created by Adebowale Gold. You can find him if you're looking for your first funnel, but that is my first offer, you guys. I'm super excited about it. I waited until this third anniversary celebration to share that with the world. I am waiting for my next guest, but I really wanted to take this opportunity to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, my grandfather. That's him. Reverend Edward Sr. It was his transition into the next life that inspired the development of the Mzizi4 Life Coaching Solutions. It started out as a life coaching initiative in 2021, and it's developed into the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. And you guys know by day, I am a licensed associate counselor. Everything that I do in the virtual space has nothing to do with my identity as a licensed associate counselor. But it's very much a part of who I am, and I enjoy it so very much. Being able to work with people, provide support and direction. What do we say? How do we describe it? To create space. Man, it's such a magical experience to be in the zone with people as they figure out the direction in which they're headed. But a lot of who I am today is because of this man that we are looking at here on this screen. And as he looks back at me, grandfather, I just hope you're proud of me. I'm doing my best to keep your legacy alive. I can't necessarily say that I'm a quote unquote preacher, but I am preaching the gospel of self-improvement and self-restoration. And he was very much man, so visible. When you talk about those people that can enter the room and you know they are there, he was one of those individuals, just 100% certain about who he was and who he wanted to be in the world as a man of God, number one. But man, you need that one person in your life that really loves and values you. And I know for a fact that my grandfather loved and valued me. And so I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to see this great man and what empowers me. It is his life, his legacy that I'm working to just honor and celebrate for the remaining days of my life. And so, yeah, that's Reverend Edward Sr. And so when we talk about self-improvement and self-direction, again, we are utilizing the 12 shared social experiences for 2024. And the shared social experience for the month of April is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. And so we've been talking a lot about just the self and why it's important to applaud and celebrate who and what you are. The value of authenticity, just being who you are. And it takes a lot to get to that place, to find out who you are. There are so many different standards imposed upon us, imposed upon people on a daily basis. But what the Quality of Life and Recovery Center wants to do is give you a platform, a space to figure it all out. And man, I think I got an amazing offering with the 2-hand 10-toe plan for personal development and self-improvement. And I don't want to get into it because then you guys won't want to watch the video that I created as a part of the funnel. I'm really excited about it. I'm just really looking forward to what the possibility of where it can go. We talked about the Quality of Life and Recovery Center wanting to be able to provide resources for people. And the two-hand tiptoe plan is going to be one of those resources for people to grow and recognize who they are and who they can actually become. And so, yeah, just really, really excited. And we're talking about one of the quality of life category for the month of April, which is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. And the category was taken from an article in therapist.com. And that article was posted in December. And I found it in the latter part of December because I was in December 2023. And I'm thinking, like, what's going to be my focus for next year? Because you don't want to do the same thing. You get tired of doing the same thing. And so I stumbled upon that article. But that article was talking about some of the complications that millennials experience. And so I wanted to find the article and just kind of run through some of the challenges that millennials face. And so the article is actually called Millennials and Mental Health. And I'm just going to chat with you guys until my next guest shows up. And so if my next guest does not show up, my next and final guest shows up, what we're going to do is we're just going to continue to talk because I don't have a problem with talking. So it's talking about some of the mental health challenges that millennials experience. Again, millennials are born between the years of 1981 and 1996. And it talks about global instability, number one. It says, although the Great Recession officially ended in mid-2009, millennials still feel the effects. They have less savings, more debt, fewer job prospects, lower wages, and lower rates of home ownership than previous generations did at similar ages. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 pandemic has created another crisis, and irreversible damage from climate change is on the horizon. So global instability is one of the concerns of millennials in regards to what's affecting their mental health. It says delayed milestones as well. It says marriage, homeownership, parenthood, and other milestones remain out of reach for millennials due to crises that they can't control. So delayed milestones. Another thing is debt. It says student loans and credit card debts have kept millennials from building wealth the way previous generations could. The immediate amount of student loan debt for millennials ages 35 to 44 is around 25,000 to 30,000 per borrower. So the debt is another thing that keeps millennials depressed. It says school shootings in the years since 1999, since the 1999 shooting at Columbine High, school shootings have continued to increase. It says millennials who grew up with this risk are now sending their children to school under the same threat. It says burnout is another reason why millennials are depressed. It says longer work hours, wage stagnation, and demands for perfection are resulting in burnout. In one study, it says almost half of millennials reported leaving a job due to mental health concerns. And then the last thing, it says, of course, social media. It says social media is linked to mental health risks, and 86% of millennials reportedly use social platforms. Bullying, comparison, perfectionism, gossip, outrage media, and doom scrolling can result in serious mental health problems. It talks a little bit about mental health, millennials and anxiety. It says anxiety disorders are among millennials' most common health conditions. Perfectionism, which can lead to anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation, is increasing among millennials and Gen Xers as well. But it says again, it says, why are millennials so anxious? It says many of the circumstances contributing to millennials' depression also cause anxiety. The steps older generations advise millennials to take, such as going to college, taking out student loans, finding a job, often haven't resulted in the economic security millennials were promised. As a result, many feel anxious and confused. A poll conducted in 2023 for Bloomberg, reported that about 45% of young adults ages 18 to 29 live at home with their families. This may delay milestones such as marriage, home ownership, and parenthood, leaving younger millennials and older Gen Xers anxious that they're falling behind their peers. And so it goes on to talk about millennials and addiction. It says it encourages individuals to get help now. If you are watching this replay, or if you are watching this live right now, and you are struggling with your mental health, it says browse the therapist.com directory to find a licensed therapist near you. But if you are in crisis at this particular moment, you can call the 988 lifeline. That's the 988 lifeline. Or you can send a crisis text by texting home, and the number is 741-741. You can text home to 741-741. And so it looks like I might have my next guest in the room. And so you guys help me to welcome my next guest. I'm not sure who it is because it's listed as Moto G Power. Let's see who it is. I'm going to take a moment to bring them into the room. That'll give me a chance to start putting in my mouth. Let's see who we got. Who's here? Audio is slowly loading. Energy cup. Man, my cleanse has been in effect today. But the stuff is so good. Everything was here. Moto G Power. Moto G Power, are you able to connect your audio? Uh-oh, it looks like you connected. Let me see who it is. Motor G Power. Are you able to activate your videos, Motor G Power?
I don't know if that's me or not, but I'm trying to.
It is. It's my mama, y'all.
Trying to get connected.
Hey, mama.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Let me stop the music.
I'm trying to reacquaint myself with this. I haven't been on it in a while.
Well, I'm happy that you reacquainted yourself with Zoom, for me. It is so good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I can't see you now.
You can't see me?
Well, now I can.
You can see me now?
Yep, can you see me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
Mama, you are my queen for the hour. You are my queen for the day. You are my queen for my lifetime.
Thank you, son.
Next year, we're gonna have to, Mama, if I get you a tiara and a sash, you gonna wear it next year?
I'll wear it. I have a tiara. Want me to go get it? It's one Cherie made.
Yeah, go get it, boy.
Okay.
Can you find it? So this is my queen. This is Queen Ivory for my lifetime, not just for the day. She's going to be my special guest moving forward. I get so much motivation and inspiration from my mom. We have been talking a lot lately about the journey of aging and what our requests are, what she has requested of me. So she is taking a break to go and get her tiara. Next year, we're going to make sure she has a sash. She's going to be my special guest. My mom is one of the reasons why I am hyper organized. I think I'm very well organized for a man. My mom is one of the reasons why I get my level of organization from her. There we go. Queen Ivory is, yes, Queen Ivory is in the building. I can see it. Look at you. So, one of the reasons why you said you wanted to come back today is because did you have some personal critiques about the first podcast that you did with me?
Some kind. I don't know if I can put my finger point on right now. One is voice. You know, you have to have a presentation when you appear on a app or something like this, and sometimes it's important to me when I hear certain voices whether it appeals to me or not.
Okay.
So that was one thing, is my voice. And I don't know if I can change that. I don't think I can.
Yeah, well, I've been learning, Mama, that because I don't celebrate my voice the way that I sound, but you know what? I have to learn.
True.
I have to feel like I'm getting something from me in order for me to feel like someone else can get something from me. I think I'm quite, and number one, I think I'm pretty entertaining, number one. And I've been doing that for a while. But all my life, I've been entertaining myself. Being my mother's only child. And I always talk about being your only child. I'll be telling people, bless my mama soul. I'm her only child. I'm her only child. But mom, I was just talking about how much I've learned from you. And we were talking about shifting in a previous interview. I was talking about shifting into the role of caregiver, providing care for others in a time of illness, sickness, and need. And I've seen you shift into that role so many different areas, providing care for people's children. But most importantly, before you logged on, I pulled up a picture of the red, Mama.
Okay.
And I was just talking about how this initiative started. And I probably should have a picture of your mom up here as well. But that's one of the things that I really still marvel at today.
Okay.
Is your ability the ease, it seems like, and I guess it wasn't easy for you, but when you shifted into the role of caregiver, can you talk to me, the listening audience, a little bit about what the process was like for you?
It wasn't difficult because I looked at my parents years earlier and I saw that they were aging. And then I looked at my siblings and wonder who would be the one, because there's always one, usually, no matter how big or small the family is. And I knew it would be me.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me time. And this was years before, actually, before stepping into that role. So
Mm-hmm.
it gave me a time to mentally prepare for it.
Yeah. So you saying it took some time?
And then, oh, well, yeah, it took some time to mentally prepare for it, because by the time it came mentally, I knew I was going to have to do it. I knew I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
So over that time, I guess I did develop, I did have the time to be the one, or be ready, I should say.
Okay. And so Mama, the quality of life category for the month of April is mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being. When it comes to mental, vibrational, and physiological well-being, what are some of the concerns that you have, either for yourself personally, or others, or the world at large? What are some of your concerns in those areas?
I think I have great concern for the physical well-being of the world at large. I have kind of been listening to different things that talk about vibrations and expression of energy and things like that. So kind of looking at that, how important energy and vibration is. As far as mental, well, it's always a mental thing, I think, because we are a brain, we are our facilities to help us reason, understand, or what have you. So mental always plays a portion or a part.
Yeah. And so we were just talking about in some previous conversations that I've had, we were talking about hindsight, right? And looking at yourself, as you move through different ages. But Mama, I've heard you critique yourself. And I would talk about like who you were who you were to me at different ages. And so as you move forward, and you move into the golden years of your life, what do you have, like, how do you go about creating goals for yourself as it relates to mental, vibrational? Where do you get your inspiration from?
My inspiration, I think, comes from nature more than anything. I
Okay.
can always kind of like, I'm a water person. I'm really a fire sign, but my energy comes from water particularly. If I were to follow fire, I probably would be an arsenic or something, something of that nature. But I gravitate towards water for calming, for peace. To nature in general, because just having grass, blue skies, clouds, I always admire and love clouds, because it feels like, to me, I was like, I would love to sit on that cloud. They're so fluffy and big and just, they're stable. So some of those things are very inspiring.
Yeah. Nature, Mama, like when you say nature, one of the things that I really feel like I've always admired about you is your green thumb.
Yeah.
And so that's why I got green stuff in my place today. And so I know one of the things that you feel like you're missing is your ability to get out into the dirt. And so in regards to vibrational and physiological well-being, what are some of the future projects that you would like to involve yourself in to reconnect with the earth and nature?
Oh, I don't know. I really racked my mind on that because people say, or there are like garden plots and different things like that. But I guess I'm kind of in the mode of how I was able to do it at home or in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't seem to come to um, any conclusions or resolve into having a garden, even physical, physical wise, couldn't do the stuff I used to do back then. I would have to have a raised garden. It'd have to be up on stilts, and they have that. So I don't know if I can do it like that again, but I think like last week I went out, took the baby out, and I did grounding, just taking the shoes off, putting my feet in the grass. Hey, I could hug a tree and try to get that kind of connection going. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I would love to, it's like I tried to have a garden here, not a garden, but flowers and stuff out on the patio or the balcony here, but they burned up. The sun was so hot, that it wasn't possible to be out there and water it every day, but it literally burnt the plants up because they were exposed to so much sun. So I guess it's grounding and what have you for me at this point still.
Yeah, that really works, Mama. I think it was last Friday. At the end of the day, I think I had did like 6 groups that day.
Okay.
And I was done. I had nothing. I went to the park and I hugged the tree. And I took a blanket out there and I spread it out on the ground, and instantly.
I told you that. I told you that we went out in the courtyard with the baby, and I took my shoes off, grounded there. Also went to the lake this week and took my shoes off. I wish I could have walked in the grass more, but I just found a spot to kind of put my feet in because the birds were out there, so the ground is kind of full of poop. But I did. I really did. I needed that reconnection or that connection. And it did calm me. I was kind of frazzled all over the place at certain points of this week. But yeah, that helped me.
And so, Mama, when it comes to the young people, and because the 2024 theme is shared social experiences, and that's all about the mental health concerns for millennials. We have our favorite millennial, which is your granddaughter, my daughter. I didn't get her permission about how much I could talk about her
Okay.
during this event. But what are some of your concerns about the generations behind you in regards to shared social experience, the mental health concerns of millennials? What are some of your fears, worries, concerns?
One of my major concerns is if what kind of world will we leave them?
Yeah. Yeah.
My concern is what is this, that we're going through? It seems like it maybe never happened before, but some of these things has happened before. We just not had to live through it. So my thing is from my own experiences, just to be more aware, for them to be more aware of not just their little world, not just their little space on the earth, but the entire world. Now I know world and earth are, pretty much the same thing, but just, broaden worldview because everything is into play right now. And I know I wasn't always that way as far as looking into it like that or looking at it like that. But now that my eyes are open, I guess you could say, hey, I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned. So I wish the things that we want for them, and I know you can't make someone want it. I like for them to kind of get it for themselves and understand for themselves. We're living in a real kind of very serious times right now worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something.
Yeah. I guess, really, what I would like to see is, that for people, and not just young people, to have the option, where light is the option, where love is the option, possibility is the option. And there are so many different ways that you can create that for yourself. If it's not through nature, if it's not through water, it's a whole lot more than just material possession. I think that that's the thing that, and don't get me wrong, like, material possession matters, but working to acquire some type of familiarity with who you are as an individual and the individual life that you can provide for, other people, the rest of the world, that that's something to
Yeah,
work toward.
yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with that. I look at it, and I kind of have to learn how to balance it because I'm not a really materialistic person, and sometimes I could see that could have been a oops, maybe balanced it better. Um, I do understand that these things can perish and they're gone, and you could lose them, and then what do you have? Do you have self? How do you
yeah,
maintain, and by me even just being retired and not doing something that I have done all my life that I equated to myself. I'm learning that that is not my me, not my total me. I miss it tremendously, but it's not my total person. So yeah, it's just like, we got to learn how to put everything in its proper position or place in life. Understanding things is like, right now, my concern, and I know I've shared this with you, is about, generational wealth
okay,
and building that and being um, conscious of it, why it's important.
right.
So wish I even had better planning in those things, but turns out not to say it, not to turn out that way, but it doesn't stop me from still instilling it in your mind, in your daughter's mind. So
Yeah, it's never too late.
yeah, I
It's never
agree.
too late. And so I'm going all in for the next, what is it, 20 years. I got 20. I think I got 20 good years left. Um, and so, Ma, one of the things I guess I heard you talk about is your identity as a cosmetologist, right? And you coming to the realization that that's not all of who you are. What was that process like for you, where you severed the understanding of yourself as a cosmetologist, businesswoman? You were, right?
Yes.
Um,
Well, I don't think it happened overnight. I think it was a
right.
process. It was a process that occurred at some time because at one point, even being in business and being a cosmetologist I became burnt out.
Did
So
you?
I had to kind of disconnect that from me
Mm-hmm.
during that time. And then, it had its ebbs and flows where, you get back excited or you find something else that could excite you. It's just like now I still just get I can't physically, do hair anymore, but it still thrills me. I
Mm-hmm.
still can get into a video, and it's just I'm really kind of happy as far as how we have the videos where you can see them, the things I had to learn and take classes for and spend a lot of money on learning. There's videos, all over the place on how to do haircuts, braiding, everything, so hair color, it's all there. And all you have to do is have the information or the knowledge to seek it, have information to seek. These people, the same things that I would look for and seek in classes and stuff like that. You have to have that same kind of motivation and you'll find what you're looking for. So yeah, but so it's like I said, that's where I get my thrill from now, just watching videos. from hair or doing hair and stuff like that. Still get excited about it, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I guess, you know, with me, I had been through teaching, instructing. I did platform work, and those were some goals that I achieved for myself that I really enjoyed doing and was satisfied, happy about having done those things. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely want to say, like, you qualify as a modern elder because you make the most of social media. And I think I just wanted to applaud you for your involvement with TikTok. I think that was the hardest one for people to grasp. It was
Still hard.
It was difficult for me. It was difficult. Yeah.
It's hard. I'm still not, you know, I don't go push every button and try to do everything, but I can observe. And so basically that's where I am. I'm in an observing stage of that because I don't really know the technology. So, and I guess there's no excuse. Like I was trying to tempt myself the other day to do some things, but I haven't done it yet. I haven't got that far yet. So it did take some getting used to get on there. The ideal, you know, is just to get on there was a challenge. And so I did that, but now I can see and learn so much from it, you know, points of interest that I have and see shared interest. You know, I kind of really, I like that, you know, and I just want to compliment you because I see your growth, you know, and how I do, and I'm so proud of you. I can see your growth in the technology, you know, how you have embraced the technology and learning how to do your videos and make them far more entertaining. And your voice, even, you are growing to a great degree in that area. And I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Baba. That's all I ever wanted to do was to make my mama proud.
Yeah, you far exceeded probably your own imagination.
And to extend the legacy of Reverend Edward Sr., because there is no way if he, you know, was alive that he would not be taking advantage of social media. If there is anybody who would have been doing that thing on social media, it would have been your daddy.
That's true. Because, you know, actually before he became sick, he had already started learning how to use email, how to do text, and those things that happened right before he got ill. He was actually doing it. And even knowing that he was first Church of God in Christ pastor or superintendent in the city of Milwaukee that was on TV. You know, he was the first one or one of the first ones, I'm sure, on radio. He went to the studio, took advantage of the meta course that they had at was it not MA Warner Brothers? It was you go down there and you can make your own videos. So he was doing.
I remember that. He had the whole tripod and everything.
He was doing that. He was even today, which is kind of interesting, but he taped and videoed so many different programs that the church had. That's actually historical. You know, he captured some of the historical moments because he was one of the older living pastors at the time, and he got into the videographing and taking pictures. He started with pictures. He was always advanced in doing that. You know, so he was very technologically inclined. So yes, he would have been on it.
Yeah, audio, video, spoken word. I came to the realization, Mama, like it was him that I first saw, you know, who knew that the microphone was powerful. If anything, like when he was running the church service, if anything had to be in place, like had to be working, it was the microphone.
I agree.
Yeah.
And because who hold the mics hold the power.
There you go.
If you think about it, you know, that's where information is disseminated, and it's the power in being able to be heard. So yes, absolutely. And it's not only that though. I remember him, you know, there was a lull in the church, and you know, there was no great singers there or people to actually do, you know, orchestrate the service. the
Yes.
program. Dad took that mic and did the whole shebang within 20 minutes.
Mhm.
From
Mhm.
congregational songs to preaching to raising the offering to talking and discussing the program of the church. Yeah, he did it all.
Mhm.
So we can
And
give
close
him
it out with a call to Christ, with the
man.
benediction.
I promise you, I was like, look at him. There was never much shame in his game because no
At
matter what,
all.
I remember when
At
my
all.
sister Penny got married, and they was like, who give this woman to this man? He's like, Reverend Claude, Dr. Reverend Claude Edwards, Faith Temple Church of God in Christ, 2482 West Center Street. I am the pastor. I do. And he never missed an opportunity
To market.
to market. Yeah, so he knew something about marketing,
He did. He
Mm.
did. He did.
It's funny.
Mama, so one of the things that the Quality of Life and Recovery Center will strive to do is to offer itself, this platform, as a resource for individuals who are in the acute stages of recovery and reconstructing their lives. But I want to segue over into your area of expertise. And so, one of the things that I'm trying to embrace is the whole idea of micro learning, right? And how social media is used to facilitate learning. One of the theoretical approaches that we use here is experiential learning, learning through experience. And so, for anybody, Mama, the young people out there who are interested in moving into cosmetology or becoming like an esthetician,
Mhm.
what words of encouragement would you leave with them, somebody who wants to move into the beauty industry, about areas that you are interested in? I know one of the things, Baba, that you always prioritized was the importance of moisturizing your hair. So for a young person that wants to get into the beauty industry, what direction and advice would you lead to them as we close out your interview?
I would leave the same to them as would apply for any field that someone goes into, is passion. You have to have a passion for it because you have to learn it, and you can't do that with a lackadaisical attitude. You have to really put yourself into it. You have to learn your craft. You have to practice your craft. You have to continue to perfect your craft. So that would be the first thing, because I seen a lot of people get into it and think, well, I can do hair, so I'm gonna own a business, and know nothing about owning a business. Can't say I do a whole lot about it myself, although I did work with my parents growing up in the salon in one capacity or another. I knew something about it. But the thing is that I had to know and learn more. I had to go beyond what my parents had learned, even in business. I had to like and redo this whole thing because when I first opened the salon, because I had to get more business skills. And so I did that. I learned the business skills. So yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to have a passion for it though first. That's with anything.
So, Mom, when you say passion, is that like love, like, and a sense of commitment?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. It is love and it is commitment because it's just like, as far as you can take even going into CNA, being a healthcare provider or
Hmm.
care worker, you have to love people first of all. We
Okay.
can't have anybody and everybody just working in those capacities because they don't know how serious it is that people know that they're cared for and
Hmm.
how to be compassionate. So yeah, like everything, you have to have a passion and love. Passion, I think that love and passion are joined word, I believe. Joint words, I believe. So yeah.
Well, Mom, I want to thank you so much for gracing me with your presence.
Am I crying?
And yeah, in your crown.
Thanks to Tamara Cherie Stewart.
Yes, and bringing me into this world, supporting me. You have been a major support to the development of this initiative. We're going to see where it goes because I'm passionate, Mama. We're going to ride it till the wheels fall off.
Okay. All you got to do is sometimes the crisis, just get some duct tape.
What was that?
Just get some duct tape.
For what?
For when the wheels start falling off, you can just
get some duct tape. Yeah.
Yeah, the doors fall off. You know, that we're gonna ride it to the end. Yeah, well, you might have to have some of the duct tape.
Yeah. Mama, I want to thank you. I will see you again soon.
You're welcome.
Extend your love to the listening audience.
Thank you, audience.
Love you back, Mama.
Okay.
All right.
Now I have to figure out how to disconnect.
Take your time.
Okay.
That was my mom, you guys. Y'all hear me talk about her a lot in my videos. She be watching me what I do, so I can't never get too crazy. But yeah, you guys, and so that concludes this celebration, this annual celebration. I plan to do this every year. We are going to be back next month with a new quality of life category. Quality of life category for May will be the experience of parenting and parenthood. We're just going to lump that all together under family. And so next month is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. If you are not aware of that, next month, May is a month for Mental Health Awareness Month. It's also my birthday month as well. Turn it up for Taurus season, which began yesterday on 420. We don't do no 420 around here. Not me, not anymore. I got a whole story about that experience. I'll tell y'all that at a later date. But Taurus season began yesterday, so it's Taurus season, baby. I'm a true Taurian, me along with my daughter. 7 is the number of completion, and our birthdays are 7 days apart. So, but yeah, hopefully, while I'm speaking about children, I want to just talk about my daughter's mom, my kid's mom. I would have a 34-year-old son. His name is Christopher Williams. He passed away 18 years ago. In 2005, he was a victim of distracted driving. Distracted driving was not a thing at that particular time. It did not have a label. But his mom came along and she created her own movement. And it is the Christopher Williams Foundation. It is Love from Afar. She is having an amazing event in June in Atlanta, in the city of Atlanta. But she has raised awareness about the importance of distracted driving. So April, the month of April, is also Distracted Awareness Driving Month. Distracted Awareness Driving Month. You guys can check her out at Love from Afar. Cindy Williams, she is doing some amazing things. She is a motivation to me to keep it pushing, to make resources available for out there for people, families that are struggling. That's what the Quality of Life and Recovery Center will strive to become, will be, both virtually and in person. I wanted to let you guys know that the Quality of Life and Recovery Center is working to develop its first in-person event in June. I think it's going to be on Sunday, June 23rd. It is actually going to be something related to the book, by Courtney B. Vance. You guys have heard me make reference to it. The Invisible Eight. And so again, I'm not sure what that's going to be, if it's going to be a 2-hour event or if it's going to be an all-day event, but it is going to be the first in-person event for the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. We're going to have some books available. We're going to engage in some breakout sessions, some talks about the importance of mental health for men. And so I just want to thank you guys for joining me, hanging out with me. I apologize for all the glitches, but hey, was a one-person show today, a one-man show today. I am he is him, we are they, and I'm doing what I'm doing, and y'all know what it is. It is I, Jimmy, the experiential one, and I want to thank you guys for celebrating with me and the Quality of Life and Recovery Center. I'm about to post the first offer for the Quality of Life and Recovery Center on the Quality of Life and Recovery Center YouTube page. Y'all check out the funnel. Y'all check out the offer. I'm going to be back. I'm not going nowhere. You guys have a great night. Remember, be the best you could possibly be to yourselves. And if you're good to you, then you're not going to get nobody to finger in traffic. And if you're struggling, call 988, or you can also text. Let me see if I still got the number here. And see what I can find the number. No, I can't find the number, y'all. But you can text as well. So until next time, peace and blessings. Have a good night. See you, Ma. I love you.